Oh. Okay, and then we have identify it as a big boned, right? Yes, isn't that sometimes we do identify like with our body shape or something. A survivor. I love that. Okay, you guys are coming up with some good ones. I'm loving this. So I just wanted you guys to kind of start thinking about that, like really what that identity means to you, because we're going to talk more about that tonight. So my name is Shantelle Flake, and I am a certified Optavia coach, and I'm just really excited to be here tonight to speak with you. We have a great lineup tonight, and I have Kristen Stum on to lead us in our discussion today. But we're going to talk a little bit about this whole identity thing. So this is the picture. This is the picture of me at the top 10 years ago. And then this is a picture of our group just recently, this past weekend in Atlanta on the bottom. A lot of us, you guys on the Zoom tonight attended this. It's the Optavia National Convention. And it is the event of the year, you guys. It was incredible. I think a lot of us are just coming off just a high because of such an amazing weekend that we were able to meet together. And you know, this is just an extension of that community. I am so convinced, you guys, that the best part about this whole program is the community. I love it. And so every Wednesday night, I love meeting you guys on here to learn and grow together. The first picture up at the top was me 10 years ago when I went to my very first national convention. I brought my mom and my husband with me. And you guys, that's when I kind of started understanding what Optavia really was and the blessing that that was in my life. We didn't really have Zoom back then, right? 10 years ago, I sound like a grandma saying that, but back then, you know, we weren't able to meet like this. So we had to meet a lot more in person. But now we get to be on here every Wednesday night. So I'm grateful for you guys for showing up and that we get to do this every Wednesday and be in this community. Okay, I think you guys are all pretty familiar with the Optavia program, but I did want to just go over the 4 components of our program really quickly. So maybe if you're a client or if you're new to the program, just be kind of thinking which of these 4 elements you have used, or maybe which one of these you want to use more. Talk to your coach about it and tell them, you know, I really want to utilize my community more, or I want to utilize that transformational system. I've been meaning to, had that book right by my bedside for a while, and it might be time to kind of open that up and at least write my name in the middle, in the front. So with the 4 components, independent Optavia coach, you guys, every single person in this entire community gets a coach. How valuable is that? That's a guide to your program. That's personal accountability. Somebody's going to walk you through. I love that. When I feel supported, I feel like I can do anything. That's my identity. Is like, I know if I am supported, I just feel like I can fly. If I don't feel supported, I just crash and burn. And so when I found out that I have my own personal Optavia coach and mentor, when I became a coach too, that meant the world to me. I knew I can do it. And then the second is our Habits of Health Transformational System. Those books probably look familiar because they came right with your kit, the Life Book and the Habits of Health System. You guys, this is where the mindset shift happens. This is the lifestyle change. If you've been in Optavia for 2 seconds, you know Optavia is different than probably anything you've ever done because of this component where it's not just a diet. It's not just about the pounds you've been losing. If you've noticed when you talk to your coach, maybe one of the last questions they ask you is, how much weight did you lose? Or maybe they don't ask you at all, because honestly, it's more about that mindset, because the weight just comes and that transformation happens when you're changing that your mindset. Then the Optavia community, which I've talked about this whole time. This is my favorite part. The people are it. That's why you're here tonight. And then of course, the number 4 are our scientifically designed fuelings and our medically based programs for weight loss, for weight maintenance, for every stage of life. So, all right, let's dive into this, you guys. I am so excited to introduce to you my friend Kristen Stum, and she's going to share a little bit about the topic tonight. And we picked this topic. I've heard her speak about this before, and I picked this topic because this is what I feel is most important for us as clients as we're wanting to go from a diet mentality or just maybe a temporary change to what's going to stick You guys all want to know the secrets of how to make this a long-lasting, lifelong pursuit. So Kristen, excited to have you.
Thanks, Shantelle. This community of like-minded people is so inspiring to me, and I appreciate you being here as part of our Healthy Together Facebook weekly webinar. And tonight our topic is how identity-based habits can produce sustainable results. That's what we all want, right? Sustainable results with our health. It takes a lot of persistence, hard work, and effort to make changes to our habits, and we want those to stick. Have you asked yourself why it is so easy to repeat unhealthy habits and so hard to form healthy ones? And a year from now, will you be doing the same things or something better for yourself? Few things can have a more powerful impact on your life than improving your daily habits. It often feels difficult to keep good habits going for more than a few days, even with sincere effort and the occasional burst of motivation. Habits like exercise, meditation, journaling, and healthy cooking are reasonable for a day or two and then become a hassle. However, once your habits are established, they seem to stick around forever, especially the unwanted ones. Despite our best intentions, unhealthy habits like eating junk food, watching too much TV, and procrastinating can feel impossible to break. So in December of 2018, I was Christmas shopping, and as I walked by the long mirrors in the store, I didn't even recognize the person staring back. I used to exercise with ease, had tons of energy, and had no limits on what I could do with my friends and family. Now I felt tired, overwhelmed, uncomfortable in my own skin and clothes, and hopeless that I could actually make changes that lasted longer than a few weeks. I remember thinking, I wish I had a health coach, because doing this health thing on my own isn't working. Now, I remember that I was just browsing the internet and I noticed that my cousin was actually a health coach. And I reached out to her and she helped me plug in to the 4 components of this program that changed my life in so many ways. I lost 60 pounds in 2019 and I felt like I had a fresh start with a healthier mind and body, confidence with what to eat, relieved that my cholesterol and triglycerides were now in healthy range, and being able to pay it forward and see my family and friends gain health in their lives also. This is the most rewarding career I have ever done. So now it's about 3 years after I lost my weight. My mindset is still trying to catch up to where my healthy body was, and some of my previous habits have come back, especially when I felt anxious or stressed. So I know the Optavia program delivers predictable transformation, and we have an amazing program to help with transition after clients reach a healthy weight. So I was curious what was blocking me from getting back to my healthiest weight again. As I have studied and applied the things I'm going to share tonight, I am already seeing a shift in how I identify myself and have started to see changes on the scale. So tonight my presentation will be based on the book, and we can go ahead and go to the next slide, on Atomic Habits by James Clear. He explains that there are 3 layers of behavioral change: a change in your outcomes, a change in your processes, or a change in your identity. This piqued my interest because that is what we want, right? Behavioral change, sustainable change. So the first layer of the 3 levels of behavioral change is changing the outcomes. Simply asking yourself, what do I want to have happen? This level is concerned with changing your results, losing weight, publishing a book, winning a championship. Most of the goals we set are at this level of change. The second layer is changing your process. Asking yourself, what path do I take to get to my desired outcome? This level is concerned with changing your habits and systems, implementing a new routine at the gym, decluttering your desk for better workflow, developing a meditation practice. Most of the habits you build are associated with this level. There's a quote on systems on the next slide that James Clear says, "We don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems." And I have been so grateful for the system, or the 4 components of Optavia that Shantelle shared at the beginning of the webinar, which include a health coach, community, transformational education system, and our nutrition system in Optavia has been developed by dietitians and has been clinically tested at Johns Hopkins for over 40 years and can be tailored to your specific needs. This system has been tried and tested. The third and deepest level is changing your identity. This level is concerned with changing your beliefs, your worldview, your self-image, your judgments about yourself and others. So most of the beliefs, assumptions, and biases you hold are associated at this level. So what does this mean for health? First, getting very clear on your why for wanting the outcome you desire, then changing your process, and then making changes based on who you want to become. So, outcomes are about what you get, processes are about what you do, and identity is about what you believe. The problem is not that one level is better or worse than another. All levels of change are useful in their own way. The problem is the direction of the change. So many people begin the process of changing their habits by focusing on what they want to achieve. This leads us to outcome-based habits. What happens after we reach our goal? A relapse in old patterns and habits is more likely to happen when we work from the outside in. The alternative is to build identity-based habits. As you can see, this works from the inside of the circle outward. So with this approach, we start by focusing on who we wish to become. It's important to let your values, principles, and identity drive you rather than just your original goal. Most people don't even consider identity change when they set out to improve. They may think, I want to be skinny or have a six-pack outcome. And if I stick to this diet, then I'll be skinny or have that six-pack process. They set goals and determine the actions they should take to achieve those goals without considering the beliefs that drive their actions. They never shift the way they look at themselves, and they don't realize that their old identity can sabotage their new plans for change. So behind every system of actions are a system of beliefs. If you continue to, say, prioritize comfort over accomplishment, you'll be drawn to relaxing rather than training or eating healthy. It's hard to change your habits if you never change the underlying beliefs that led to your past behavior. You have a new goal and a new plan, but you haven't changed who you are. There's a quote in the next one that says, identity is repeated beingness. Your actions will prove to your brain that you are actually serious. So we have the power to change our beliefs about ourselves. Our identity is not set in stone. We have a choice every moment. We can choose the identity we want to reinforce today with our daily choices. The ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of your identity. It's one thing to say, I'm the type of person that wants this, is something different to say, I'm the type of person that is this. So I'm excited to welcome my friend, Sarah Joy, and she will share an experience where identity-based thinking helped her accomplish a big goal.
Thank you, Kristen. So I'm Sarah Joy Rosales. I've been an independent Optavia coach for the last 2 years. And Kristen asked me to share how identifying as a healthy person has then helped me accomplish my goals. And more specifically, as you can see from the pictures, my goal is to participate in Spartan races, which are obstacle course races. So my goal for the last 2 years since taking control of my health has been to complete a series of 3 races each year, which is called the Spartan Trifecta, and to build my skills in OCR, or obstacle course racing. And so that was my goal. So I know Kristen kind of went over goals and process and like your why and the identity. And so my goal was to become athletic again and to become stronger than I've ever been. And so the big part of my process was that there was kind of 2 main parts. So I'm the type of person that when I have a new undertaking, I want to do really well. And so asking for advice from experienced racers was a huge part of how I accomplished, how I was able to work toward what I wanted to accomplish. Because if you want to accomplish something that you've never done before, it's important to ask those that are currently doing it or have done it. And that can be related to any of us, wherever we're at in our own health journeys. Don't let any negative feedback you get from others slow you down. Don't take advice from people that you wouldn't want to trade places with. Go to the sources of those people that you want to accomplish what they're doing. And so another part of my process was really staying consistent with what I knew was going to make me a better racer. So staying consistent over a long period of time in preparation for the races was key. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to build muscle in a day or endurance. So I had to really dedicate myself to that long-term training, and the mental fortitude that has come from being consistent with my habits. That's what carries me through my races. And and my hard days when they come, not just races, but just hard things that come up in life. Having that mental fortitude that consistency brings has been an amazing part of the process, is identifying, as a healthy person. And so my why for doing these races was to get stronger, to feel like an athlete again, to learn something new from each race that I completed. And I strive to improve in at least one way in each race that I do. Someday, hopefully sooner than later. Another goal of mine is I want to compete in the age group category, which I know will really test my physical limits and my mental dedication to the physical training, eating clean, proper sleep, stress management. And so, yeah, that's my why that's driving me. But I have a story about my most recent race, which was in Fort Carson, Colorado, if you know where that's at, near Colorado Springs. It was last month, and although it wasn't the longest race that I've completed, it was definitely the hardest. It definitely tested me and pushed me to my max. The high elevation, I didn't expect it to affect me like it did, and the mid 90s heat, both of those things left me really struggling for the first half of the race. And I had to really put that mental fortitude and that identity to the test. And I didn't know that I would be putting that to the test till I got there. But with each incline that I faced, I found myself saying out loud, you can do this. Your muscles are prepared for this. You have the strength to complete this hill, to complete this obstacle. You have trained for this. I am a Spartan. And I kept saying those things to myself. And honestly, saying this and identifying with the evidence of my healthy habits that had gotten me there was what helped me to succeed and conquer that race and complete some of the obstacles for the very first time. And although I'm not a professional OCR racer, I'm not the best at what I do, I truly do identify now as an obstacle course race athlete. And I say it now too. I haven't accomplished everything in this sport that I want to, but we don't have to be at our goal in order to start letting it become part of our identities. I am a healthy person. I am dedicated to a full and healthy life. I am an OCR athlete. Thanks, Kristen.
Oh my goodness, I love that so much. Thank you, Sarah Joy. I love how she identified as a healthy person. That gave her the motivation to push through with grit and hard work and to truly say, I am a Spartan. And I just can't wait to see what you continue to accomplish with your consistency, educating yourself, and your positivity, and just digging in with your grit. So thank you so much. I hope you don't mind, I'm going to share just a personal experience of my oldest son, Tyler. So he left home for the first time this summer to do sales, knocking doors 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. And it was interesting to see how he applied these 3 levels of behavioral change from an identity approach. So his outcome goal was to run a marathon alone on a Saturday morning. His how or his process was he prepared the supplements, the water, the food, the proper shoes, and plugged into his prior physical training. And yeah, he had the support of his cute girlfriend along the way. And then his why is he decided that he wanted to prove to himself that he truly was a person with grit, and that he would not give up when things got hard. So guess what happened? His level of fitness pulled him through to mile 18. He had run a distance of 13 miles years before, coupled with an average of 10 miles a game in years and years of soccer games. But at mile 18, he started cramping to the point of falling over. He could have had his systems better in place with proper training for a marathon and the salt pills and electrolytes he needed. We took him the supplements he needed, but then it was up to him as he dug deep into his identity and told himself, I am a person who has grit. I'm a person who can do hard things. I am a person who is determined to reach my goals. I am a person who will push through pain. I am a person that puts one foot in front of the other. I am a runner. His small wins of completing 5-mile laps at a time led him to finish his solo marathon. This is an example, this next slide from the book. What do you notice that's a little bit different in these 2 examples? If someone is offered, 2 people are offered a cigarette. One person says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. So this person still believes they're a smoker who is trying to be something else. They're hoping the behavior will change while carrying around the same beliefs. Person 2 says, no thanks, I am not a smoker. There's a small difference in response, but this statement signals a shift in identity. Smoking was part of their former life, not their current one. They no longer identify as someone who smokes. In this next slide, there's another example of a goal versus identity-based approach with health. A person that is goal-focused approach would say, I will lose 50 pounds in 5 months for an event coming up. I hope I can maintain, although I usually gain it back. A person using an identity-focused approach would say, I am a healthy person. I will ask myself, what would a healthy person do in each situation? This person is more likely to reach and maintain their healthy weight. So who are you? Who do you identify as? As Shantelle asked, some of you guys shared some things that you are. So when you have a repeated story that you're telling yourself for years, it's easy to slide into these mental grooves and accept them as a fact. Have you said things like, I have a terrible memory, I'm horrible at math, I'm always late, I'm an emotional eater, I'm a yo-yo dieter, I'm not a morning person, I'm not structured. What identities do we give ourselves? I remember telling my coach before starting Optavia, I am an emotional eater. I learned to flip the script and look at what if the opposite were true. And I was able to say, I am also a person that does not always emotionally eat. Sometimes I take time to process my emotions and make healthy choices with food. Progress requires unlearning. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. So, are you ready for a two-step process to make decisions from an identity-based approach? We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. First of all, decide who you want to be. You are not born with preset beliefs. Every belief, including those about yourself, is learned and conditioned through experience. So you can be the creator and dominant force in your life and decide the person you want to be. What do you want to stand for? What are your principles and values? Who do you wish to become? These are big questions, and many people aren't sure where to begin, but they do know the kind of results they want. To be at a healthy weight, or to feel less anxious, or to double their salary, that's fine. Start here and work backward from the results you want to the type of person who could get those results. So ask yourself, who is the type of person that could get the outcome I want? Who is the type of person that could lose 40 pounds? Who is the type of person that could learn a new language? Who is the type of person who could run a successful startup? For example, who is the type of person who could write a book? It's probably someone who is consistent and reliable. Now your focus shifts from writing a book, outcome-based, to being the type of person who is consistent and reliable, which is identity-based. And the second part is proving it to ourselves with small wins. And we can go ahead to the next slide. And asking yourself, what evidence do you have that you're becoming a healthy person? And ask yourself all day, what would a healthy person do? I had a client that on his lunch break, he wanted to go to the store and get something a few blocks away. And he decided to walk instead of drive, which was such a simple thing. But that was a little small win that showed himself that he was a healthy person and trying to get more activity in. So every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. As you repeat the evidence accumulates and your self-image changes. You also learn to trust yourself that you can make healthy choices. When you make your bed each day, you embody the identity of an organized person. When you eat on plan each day, you embody the identity of a healthy person. When you train each day, you embody the traits of an athlete. Once you have a handle on the type of person you want to be, you can begin taking small steps to reinforce your desired identity. I have a friend who lost over 100 pounds by asking herself, what would a healthy person do? All day long, she would use this question as a guide with water intake, food choices, time invested in the life book. Would a healthy person order a breaded sandwich and fries or a protein salad? She figured if she acted like a healthy person long enough, eventually she would become that person, and she was right. So in the book, 100 Days of Weight Loss by Linda Spangle, she introduces a concept called I used to be that way, but now I am. So this powerful statement completely ignores what you've done in the past and focuses on leading from the future and acting in the now. So rather than being fearful of repeating the past, helping yourself build a new way of thinking. Have you said, I always gain my weight back? Try, but now I'm going to maintain my weight. Or I always slack off on weekends. Try, but now I'm going to stick with my plan. Or I always give in to food pushers. Try this. But now I will tell my family and friends I'm working on my health and would love their support. Go ahead and invent entirely new outcomes for your goals by the way you approach them. So, can I invite you to practice an exercise this week and talk it through with the person that invited you to this webinar? First of all, just make a list of any fears or negative behaviors that have hurt your success in the past and read each one out loud and then say, I used to be that way, but now I'm different. Then write new endings for them by completing this sentence. I used to, like I said, be an emotional eater, but now I process my emotions in an intelligent way. Read these new outcomes often and then live in a way that makes them true. So, true behavior change is identity change. In conclusion, I just want to give you this challenge that you might start, just reiterate that we might start a habit because of motivation, but the only reason you'll stick with one is that it becomes part of your identity. The end goal is not to lose X amount of pounds. The goal is to become a healthy person for life. The goal is not to just run a Spartan or a marathon. The goal is to become an athlete. The goal is not to make a few healthy meals. The goal is to become a person that fuels your body for life. Thank you so much for being on here tonight. And I hope that some of these ideas will help you as you focus on identity-based outcomes versus just the goal or outcome alone for more sustainable results. We do need all three layers for behavioral change, but starting with the end in mind, stating I am a healthy person. So what would a healthy person do can move you forward in creating sustainable results. Shantelle, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you so much, Kristen and Sarah Joy, for teaching us. That was fantastic. I feel like this is just such a great tool and a great learning point for us to focus on this week. And I love your action steps of like really what to do with this now. Like challenge that identity, really look at that. You know, we talk about metacognition in this program, right? Like think about what you're thinking about, being aware of the thoughts that are going on in our head. And don't let our brain just get away with thinking a certain way, right? We probably have identified with these things for years, decades, right? I am an emotional eater. Sometimes that just rolls off of our tongue that we don't even try to challenge that. But maybe it's time, if you're ready, to challenge some of these things. Where are you maybe not receiving the outcomes that you want? And maybe it's time to change some of these identities, right? What do you want? Do you want to be a healthy person? I've actually used this exact phrase. I absolutely love this topic because it has worked really well for me. For me, when I do make decisions, I say, I'm a healthy person, and I order at the restaurant according to that. And you know what? I am not always perfect. Sometimes there are times where I'll eat one too many cookies. And you know what? It's almost like it's weird. Like because I have such an identity that I'm a healthy person, when that happens, I don't take it very personally. I just go, oh, well, that's weird because I'm a healthy person and I just ate one too many cookies. Oh, that's weird. Oh, well, moving on, right? Tomorrow's going to be better. I don't take it to mean something about myself or like shame or guilt myself into it. It's just kind of like roll it off like, oh, that didn't fit what I really am. Okay, moving on. So, really work at these things and identify them and practice that in your head. So that's your homework for this week. So thank you so much, everyone, for being on. We're actually going to be going for the next 30 minutes. We have 2 breakout sessions. Really quick, I wanted to invite you next week for our Healthy Together time. It's learning to celebrate. I know that picture looks like we're going to like meet at a club or something, but we are actually going to be on here on Zoom and we are going to talk about celebrating. So such a fun topic for next week. For the next 30 minutes though, we have 2 breakout sessions. And the first one, if you stay right in this room, you're going to get more information about this program, the program that we love, the 4 components, and then also more on how to reach and maintain your healthy weight long-term and be 500% more likely. So stay tuned for that. And then on the breakout session, we're going to do a coaching quick start. So for anyone that is a new coach, we're going to be doing that. So it's going to pop up. And so if you'll just press on which group you'd like to go to, if you want to go to the breakout, just tap your screen and join the Coaching Quick Start breakout group. Otherwise, you'll just stay right in here. So thank you guys for being on tonight. We'll see ya.